Alright guys, this is a continuation of the last video. A little bit of show and tell here. Alright, this is the neck knife that I showed last time as far as what a bevel is. First I'll talk about the sheath. You got a couple of slabs of leather thrown together. I didn't really put much effort into making the sheath. It was just something that I wanted to experiment with, as well as make something that'll protect this blade. Got a nice staining that I made over here. We got heavy duty copper rivets, a welt in the middle that's actually a little thinner than the blade, so it would actually hold the blade through friction as opposed to a loop or anything like that. And as you can see, it works great. It's not going anywhere. It's nice and quiet when you remove it, which I like. You can imagine what that would be good for. Alright, the blade itself has a nice slender profile with a continuous belly going all the way up to that acute tip. You have a very thin blade, so this thing is, I made this to cut. It's not going to pry or anything like that. Got a sharpening trowel right here. The handle design I'm very happy with. It's very, like I said, as you can see, this is not a thick handle, yet you get a lot of great grip with this design and multiple grips. It's great in here, in this grip as well, the reverse grip and the pen grip, I guess you'd call it, as well as the scalpel grip. Alright, the handle material itself is leather. I gave it an old world finish and finished it off with some Resolene, which is a really good protectant. Now, don't get me wrong, the handle's not, the blade overall isn't finished. The handle's not finished and the bevel's not finished. Just wanted to show the progress so far and explain what I've done to it. Okay, this is a scalpel, obviously, made by Swan Morton. I did do a study on scalpels because I wanted to understand them better, and Swan Morton is considered to be one of the best in the world for mass-produced scalpels. They come really sharp. As you can see, they're finely mirror polished, and that's because they also understand that the surface of the blade will affect the cut, and they want the least drag possible, and as well as it being very thin. It's going to go through flesh very easy. Alright, the only competition I'd say they have when it comes to quality scalpels would be Germany, but they're not as readily available. Okay, this is my Spyderco Resilience. As you can see, it has a very fine polish on the flats. I did that with my Japanese Waterstones. It is actually up to a 6,000 grit Japanese Waterstone, and then I finish it off on the strop right here, which is equivalent to a 30,000 grit. And as you can see, I blended in the bevels. You should be able to tell by the reflection, the way the camera bends into the bevel. And I have to say, this thing is one of the best cutting knives I've ever had. I took away some material here and made a nice pocket catch, or a blade catch, in case I go up against somebody with a sword or another blade. I can actually parry and block, and there's a good chance that the blade will actually land in here and I'll be protected. Anyways, did also a very small pocket sharpening choil, and that's to, when you sharpen, help keep that blade nice and straight going back, so there's no recurve development as you sharpen, which is bad. Alright, before I do some cutting demonstrations, I'm going to go into this video, this little DVD right here, made by Murray Carter. He's a 17th generation Yoshimoto bladesmith. This is the first DVD out of 2. The next one is Advanced Blade Sharpening Techniques. And I'd say if you want to understand the true science behind the edge and be able to sharpen anything, this is the way you want to go. You can watch those videos on YouTube, but you'll still have some gaps. Whereas with this, you'll understand everything from the ground up. Alright? Now for some cutting demos. Here's some 550 paracord. Easy, like nothing. Nice smooth cuts. Okay. This is a nice piece of denim right here. And it's actually where the welts are as well, so you got various layers of denim as opposed to just one thin layer. Very easy. Made a nice clean cut, as you can see. Okay. Here's a nice flimsy piece of newspaper. Okay. Effortless. Okay, and get the push. Push cut, slicing cut, all the way to the tip. And then this is the way a tip is supposed to work. Just touching it, pull it through, and it just sinks in the second you start moving it. Okay. Now, here was one of the bigger demonstrations I wanted to make. Kind of makes a point. Here's a very thin, very sharp scalpel. This is a decently thick piece of leather, not that thick, you know, as you can get it, but it's fairly thick. And I want to show you how easy it is to cut through this and the amount of resistance given. Not much. It was actually very easy to cut through that. Now, I'm going to use my Resilience, which is a much thicker blade. See, it just glides through like nothing. Easy. And what that shows is, even if you have a thicker blade, if you know how it all works, you could manipulate it any way you want to, and you can get the most cutting performance out of a blade that was never really meant to perform that well, based on the way it was finished anyways. Okay. The only other things I like to go over is this is the strop I was telling you about in the last video. I was wrong. It's not a 12 by 2. It's 12 by 3. This is the bench strop. I recommend the paddle strop because it's going to be around the same size, a few more dollars, and you get two sides of leather to play around with. This is the compound you'll get from that website, Sharpening Supplies, along with the strop. It's like a crayon. It'll last forever. You just color it right onto the leather, and it's equivalent to 30,000 grit, 0.5 micron. And on the other side, I recommend you go to another website, like I think Chef Knives To Go has a more coarse strop compound. Alright, and here's something great for your carbon blades. It's a camellia oil from Japan. And that's really it, guys. I'll start to get into the habit of making more videos, and you know, if you have any questions, just feel free to post them in the comments and questions. Okay, take it easy, guys.